Once upon a time, a king held a big event in his kingdom, inviting artists from all over the country to show their talents. Among these artists was a magician ready to show his magic. Before it was the magician's turn, many other magicians performed their tricks. The magician became a bit confused about what kind of magic he should do for the king. He decided to do something different to surprise everyone. When it was his turn, he used his magic to make the king's crown disappear. The people started laughing, but the king felt insulted. Without his crown, he felt embarrassed in front of everyone. He got very angry and ordered the magician to be arrested and sentenced to death to be carried out on the seventh day. As soon as the magician's wife heard the news, she went to see her husband in jail and started crying. But the magician was very hopeful. He comforted his wife and said, "Why are you crying? There are still 6 days left. Let's spend these 6 days happily because anything can happen in that time." The wife thought her husband had lost his mind because of the news. She came to see him every day, and each day the magician told her not to worry and to be happy. Finally, the day of the execution arrived. The magician became sad and started crying. When the king asked why he was crying, the magician said, "Your Majesty, I am not afraid of death because everyone has to die someday. But I am crying because if I die, there will be a big loss. I have been learning a special art for the past few years. I have been teaching my horse to fly for the last 2 years, and in 1 more year, my horse will be able to fly. But now, if I die, the art will be lost, and my horse will never learn to fly. That's why I am crying." Hearing about the flying horse, the king thought, "If I have a flying horse, I will be unbeatable in war and famous all over the world." The king became very interested and immediately said to the magician, "I can give you 1 more year, but you must give me the flying horse." The magician replied, "Sure, it will be my pleasure to give you the flying horse." The king said, "If the horse can fly, I will free you and give you a reward. But if it can't fly, I will hang you to death." The magician agreed and happily returned home. Everyone at the magician's house thought he must have been executed by now. So they were in mourning, but they were surprised to see him alive. The magician explained everything to his family. They were happy at first, but then his wife became sad because she knew there was no horse that could fly. She worried that after a year, the king would find out and hang the magician. The magician reassured his wife, saying, "A year is a long time and we don't know what will happen in that time. So let's not worry about the future and enjoy the moment." As it turned out, after 6 months, the king died suddenly. 3 months after the king's death, the horse also died. Now, with neither the king nor the horse alive, the magician was completely free. There are two important lessons we can learn from this story. The first lesson is that every problem has a solution, we just need to find it. No matter how big a problem is, don't panic. Never give up and keep trying until the end. Problems will always be part of life, but worrying about them does nothing to help. The second lesson is not to worry about the future because it is uncertain. You never know what will happen next. So, why not think positively about the future and be happy instead of thinking negatively and being unhappy? Sometimes, problems get solved on their own over time, and sometimes they are solved by our efforts. The important thing is to be optimistic about the future and enjoy the present moment.